And so other than that, just future goals are actually this summer I will be going back to St. Louis and working at the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis. And so I look to hopefully attend law school after graduation.
Right. All right, thank you very much. Yeah, do you want to add anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remembered the thing that I knew I was going to forget. I also studied abroad, so that's what reminded me. I actually studied abroad twice because Hopkins has this awesome intersession program where we get a full, I think it's 4 or 5 weeks off between the 2 semesters. And so the entire month of January, Hopkins offers free courses here on campus for 1 or 2 credits usually. And they're usually more fun and interesting. Sometimes they're taught by advanced graduate students or faculty too. But the other thing you can do is study abroad during those 3 weeks. And so my sophomore year, I actually went on a 3-week trip to Japan, and I studied at the University of Nagoya. And there was funding available, so it helped me get funding through the International Studies program to pay for some of it. And then last year, my junior year, I spent a semester in Cuba at the University of Havana. And so there's a lot of opportunities for study abroad. Yeah, I just wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, wait, can I do a study abroad? Yeah, so yeah, for study abroad, for the 5-year program, I am not allowed to spend a semester abroad, but last summer, I spent the 2 months, the entire summer, in Siena, Italy, which not only would I have not found the program, nor would I have gotten funded without help from the International Studies Office. So my Italian professor actually helped me find the program just because I've formed a relationship with him, but also the International Studies Office offers foreign language area studies grants, which are through the Department of Education, but allocated through the IS program. And so I won one of those that fully funded my trip to go study in Italy and complete my Italian language. And then also for the summer, I'm doing an internship abroad, again in Italy. I'm working at the U.S. Embassy in Rome. And I've applied for several grants from the International Studies program to help that get funded as well. So there's an abundance of funding for all of your international experiences that you might want to do here at Hopkins. I think that's something that really, really adds to the experience of the majors here. You go too.
I was just briefly going to touch on your question about the Career Center because I actually have been an avid user of it. So my mom is a nurse and my dad's an electrical salesman, so they didn't really know how to help me be an international studies and economics major, and so I went to the Career Center, and they really were able to help me build my resume, kind of make me more of a approachable, more of a ideal candidate for jobs and everything. They have a multitude of resources and everything, and also there's the Career Center, and then also there's Dr. Van Morgan and our academic advisors in our STED programs, and they also offer a lot of advice. I know I've asked Dr. Van Morgan numerous times for recommendation letters and just different career advice, and so Hopkins really prepares you for what's next in your life, and I think it's always important to kind of plan out and figure out what you really want to do in the future. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Okay, so let's just open it up to questions, Q&A now, and I think that's probably the best way to keep the conversation going.
So I'm wondering what specifically in your high school career helped you really prepare for an international studies major, and how did that, how did you get interested? How did you sort of confirm that interest enough to know I've got to visit all these colleges and then pick this one?
I could answer that one. I participated in this program called Missouri Youth in Government. Youth in Government is a national organization, and each state has its own program, and it's run through the YMCA. And we actually had the opportunity to, it was a convention held in our Missouri State Capitol in Jefferson City, and it's essentially like a mock government with a judicial and a legislative side with a House and a Senate. I was in the legislative side, and we participated, we presented bills, and it was a really neat experience, and it really exposed me to something new. It put me outside of my comfort zone and everything, and I really enjoyed it, and it kind of, I guess, created this passion for international studies and wanted me to learn more. So that's essentially what prepped me for this. And I always had just, I love the news and just kind of keeping up with current events, and so just kind of talking to, I also talked to someone before looking at schools, just kind of about career advice and everything, and they kind of helped me shape all of my interests, which were current events and government, to kind of give me more of guidance of what exactly I can major in for my academic interests.
For me, it was the Model United Nations Club at my high school. I joined it basically on a whim my freshman year. I just went to the first meeting. I went to my first conference. I lost miserably, but I really, really enjoyed it. And so, then I got a lot better at it. I became a leader of the club, and I just sort of figured out, hey, I don't suck at this, and I could probably make a career out of it. So I'd really like to continue it in college, and that's just sort of how I figured out that I really enjoy talking about international politics. I had studied Italian for a long time, so I knew I wanted to do something with different cultures and travel. But yeah, I just, Model UN really did it for me. And then I still participate in Model UN here at Hopkins. We both have a team that goes to other colleges and competes with our peer institutions, but also if anyone's high school has come to the JUMONC conference, we host it downtown at the Hilton in Baltimore, that I basically help them run a conference where we bring high schoolers and we run the simulation for them, which is also very rewarding and very fun as well.
Just quickly, because my answer is also Model UN. But more than that, I had a really awesome history teacher in high school who was also our Model UN advisor, so I got really close with him. And I was sure through Model UN that I wanted to study international studies, but I was sure through learning with him that I wanted to come to Hopkins because of the reasons that Sydney was talking about earlier, that when we were preparing for these Model UN conferences, it wasn't enough to just understand the positions of the countries that you were representing. We had to dig deeper and try to understand why they have evolved historically into the way that they are now. And so for me, it wasn't enough just to study international relations. I wanted a broader context of what was going on and why. And for me, Hopkins gave me a lot of freedom to pursue that. I could take history courses in the history department and things like that. So that was... Yeah. I'm from upstate New York. I'm from
Chicago suburbs. Yeah.
Syracuse, Chicago, and St. Louis. Yeah. Okay, back there. I'm kind of curious, you in the middle, Sydney, with the double, the fact that you've been accepted into the next half of the program.
Sure.
Where will that take place? I thought that the master's level for this was in DC.
It is. Yeah, so for our Graduate School of International Studies, we actually have 3 campuses, which I think is amazing and fabulous. So DC is sort of it's the biggest one for sure. And then also Bologna, where everything is taught in English with a ton of international students. And then in Nanjing, China, where is everything taught in Mandarin? Or is half and half? Yeah, so most of it is taught in Mandarin. And so my friend Ryan just got accepted. He's also my year into Nanjing because he is proficient in Chinese. And so he'll be doing his 4th year in Nanjing in Chinese. And then all of us will reconvene in DC to be taught in English and finish up the master's work.
So it's 3 years here and then 2 years on one of the other campuses. Yeah, and then following up,
Yep.
it's kind of interesting that nobody's talked about any internships in DC with that so close, et cetera. Yeah, have you guys done, yeah, I know you've all done stuff.
So I've had 2 internships with senators, one in the Syracuse office of Chuck Schumer, and then one in DC, the DC office of Bernie Sanders. So it's really easy to commute. I did it for a semester, and I was working 25 hours a week there, plus commuting time. So it was easy to do. It was a stressful semester because I was also taking a full course load, but there are options to not do that, but I wanted to keep going. So it's definitely easy to do, and I know lots of people that have done it and have done just an internship for a semester. It's also easy to do over the summer an internship in DC and pay for campus housing or stay in your apartment that you're living in Baltimore, and it's an easy commute.
Yeah, this is a really good location to be, to live and then also have access
Yeah.
to DC. And so we have tons of students that do internships in Baltimore, DC. So how do they find them?
So I found mine by... I knew I wanted to work for Bernie Sanders, so I pursued that. I did the internship with Chuck Schumer because he was my local senator. But the Bernie one I sought out. I know others have gone through their faculty or through, I think the Career Center does some of this. I have a friend who was working at a contracting firm that does work for the DoD that she found through one of her political science professors. So there are lots of different ways to go about it, and a lot of different people can help.
Were you getting credit?
No, I was getting paid in Bernie Sanders' office, so...
Yeah, if you're paid, you can't get credit. If you are unpaid, you can get 1 credit. So we have a lot of students that take that 1 credit option. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for my internship this summer, this will be the first sort of off-campus internship that I've held. I hold a job that's called an internship on campus with basically our Office of Community Service. It's called the Center for Social Concern, and I just found that through my own boss. But for the State Department, I applied basically through the general call for applications, but many, many, many of my friends have gone through, we have a program called Handshake through the Career Center, and that's sort of like a LinkedIn where, but more focused on less on connecting with each other and then job postings. So most of the job postings that Hopkins will get, it will all be posted on Handshake, and so that's nice. So you can basically apply through that. You can upload your resume, so you don't have to type it in or copy paste it in. You can upload your general cover letter. So that's something that's really, really easy to use. And sort of before I got the notification that I was accepted in the State Department, because the State Department is sort of lots earlier, it starts in October, whereas most other internships will start in January. I was starting to basically gather together all these jobs. You can sort of favorite and flag things that you want to do, and it was really, really easy to use. So I definitely like that, and I know pretty much everyone else does use Handshake. Do you have something?
The only thing I'll add to it, because their answers are great, is that also the IS department sends out a weekly email with different deadlines and due dates for either job applications or scholarship applications, program applications. And so that's been something that I've used in the past, of just kind of looking through the email really quick on a Monday morning just to see if anything catches my eye or anything, and it's a great resource for the students.
So are that email would then potentially alert you the situation or the opportunity you took advantage of?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're also developing an alumni program. We have thousands of alumni who graduated with the degree in international studies from Hopkins, and we're in the process right now of really trying to, first of all, kind of get all of those people, figure out who all those people are, but then also setting up a system on our website where they can identify particular areas of expertise and offer mentorship to students. So we're really excited about that. In addition, hopefully internships in some of their offices as well. So I came here 3 years ago. We've been working on a lot of things. This is sort of one of the things that we finally have time now to really pursue. So it's exciting. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk about an experience you've had here that was totally unexpected and really cool? Does that feel like an application question?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's always a big one.
I have two short stories that I guess I could share. So do you all know about SoHop, the admitted students overnight trip? So basically, after you've been admitted, SoHop is like a 2-day program that's free to attend, where you'll be housed in a dorm overnight, so you really get the whole feel of campus. It's totally fabulous. And so the reason that I ultimately confirmed that I am going to go to Johns Hopkins University was at SoHop, when it was after all the official programming, and I had an hour and a half to kill before I had to go to the airport to catch my flight back home. And I decided that I wanted to go into the Italian department and see who I could find and see who would answer my questions. And so I basically marched in confidently, 18-year-old me, and said, "Hi, I have a few questions." And I sort of started going off how can I continue my Italian studies? What can I do with a major or a minor, that type of thing. And a professor who's it's embarrassing, whose name I forget and I've never seen again, weirdly walked behind me and she said, "Do you have some questions about Italian?" I was like, "Yes, I do." And so she brought me into her office, this giant dome office of books and beautiful things, clearly someone really important. And she sat down with me for half an hour and talked about, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do this? What can we do for you in Italian? And that is something in Italian and in international studies that I've seen every single day on campus. All these professors, Dr. Van Morgan, Ms. Bruffett, Alex, all want you to succeed and all want you to be the best you can possibly be, and they will sit down with you for hours upon hours until you have an answer, until you find a new opportunity, that type of thing. And another example of that, sort of unexpected, is last semester, in December, I was turning in a final paper to one of my professors, Robert Friedman, who's incredible. He's worked with NATO, the State Department, behind the Moscow desk at the State Department, which is dream job. And I basically just told him, I was "Oh, here's my paper. I really enjoyed writing about this. I had deeply enjoyed writing this 25-page long paper." And he's like, "Oh, do you want to do an independent study about it?" And I was like, yes, I do want to do an independent study about it. I would love to. And so now he's my advisor this semester. So I'm basically, you know, research Johns Hopkins. I'm finally doing research at the first research university where like I am studying Russia,